What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome to a very early in the morning, but very fun, last minute, literally last minute, uh, podcast. We are going to talk about the NBA trade deadline. We have a special guest with us today, Miss Jocelyn of Jocelyn Knows Sports. She's all over TikTok. She's all over Instagram. She is absolutely killing it. She's going to events like crazy. And she is way more important and way more popular than we are. So we are going to get her opinion first on this NBA trade deadline and what you thought. Luka getting traded, which I never thought would happen. Anthony Davis getting traded, and then last night it breaking that the trade between the Charlotte Hornets and the Los Angeles Lakers is now not a trade, and it's because of a failed physical, is what I read. So Jocelyn, you go first.
Well, good afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the country. My name is Jocelyn, and I am a big fan of Nick. And anytime he asks me to do something, I don't care if it's 4 a.m., 4 p.m., I'm gonna always try my best to show up for him as my authentic self. I think he gave me a lot more thunder than I deserve, but I appreciate it. I mean, I wish he would have said I was a little bit more attractive, but I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the compliments I got. I'll take the compliments
Uh,
I got. But to get into these NBA trades, they're all over the place. I don't know what was stressing me out more, the NBA trades or the WNBA trades. I feel like it was like they was going back and forth. Like one organization was like, hold my beer, like let me up this. It was just trades every single day. I think for me, that was probably the most interesting of how aggressive teams were with the trades. Like I expected some trades. I actually didn't even think the LA Lakers were looking to trade anyone, and they were probably the most aggressive during the trade NBA trade deadline. And I was like, oh, okay, really didn't see that coming out. I expected Golden State. Obviously, I think the world expected Miami to do whatever they needed to do to get rid of Jimmy Butler. That was a weird trade, but last night the game seemed like it kind of worked out. So we'll see what happens with
hey,
Jimmy
I'm
Buckets
happy
being
with it.
there with my goal.
Jimmy put up
I
25,
don't know.
and I'm a Warriors fan.
I mean, it was a
He can
good
do whatever he.
game. I just feel like they gave up a lot for one player. And
Oh no,
like
I
just
agree.
from
I
me
agree. We gave
thinking,
up too much for Jimmy. We gave up too
Yeah,
much.
yeah, because you got Steph, you got Draymond, you got Jimmy. They all over the age of 30. When you get into that playoffs and their bench is low as it is, like who's gonna carry
Also,
the team?
our center, our big, hasn't played center all year for us, and now he's having to step into that role because we got rid of Wiggins. So
They're just
that's
I think
my
I
issue.
think it can work. I'm surprised they didn't do anything to kind of get the depth of the bench. Because I feel like, I mean, you got Steph Curry on your team, Jimmy Butler's defense and his offense, and then Draymond, he doesn't get enough credit for his defense. They're good. They're great actually on
Well,
the floor together. You just can't play all 60 minutes. So I mean,
Draymond's defense is more like I'm just gonna punch you in the face, and we're gonna see if I get away with it. It's what it's been here
I
recently
mean,
the
I,
last
I
few
think
years.
like
I feel like.
I know you're a little younger than me. I look at him more like a Dennis Rodman type defense. I think for the
Yeah.
younger audience, y'all may look at it like, oh, he's just out there hitting people. Dennis Rodman was no one's friend. You never saw Dennis Rodman get nobody jersey at the end of a game. So I mean,
From
he
what
did
I've
what it
heard,
takes to
apparently
win.
nobody on the Bulls were apparently nobody on the Bulls were friends. From what I heard, and they won 6 championships. So I don't.
But
Here's the thing.
there's
I don't need Draymond and Jimmy to get along in the locker room. I don't need Steph and Jimmy to get along in the locker room. Just for the 60 minutes they're on the court, I need them to get along so we can win a ring, so that Steph can win a ring without Clay, so that people will stop saying that Clay's in a better situation. Because I am tired of hearing that Clay's in a better situation.
I mean, Clay is definitely in a better
That's
situation. Just Steph Curry is the
okay.
better
No,
player. I mean, the Mavs starting five, the Mavs bench, the Mavs. I mean, like they have a. I mean, they were in the finals last year, and to me, they improved. I'm not a. I was just as confused as everyone else about the Luca trade, but I will say that Anthony Davis is no slump, so it's not like they got, like they got like spam for
Yeah.
filet mignon. And they got a all NBA player, defensive player of the year, NBA champion. So yeah.
I mean, no, I liked the move for the Mavericks, but I love the move long term for the Lakers though, because Luca being only 25, he's going to be there for the next decade. Now, does that mean that the organization is going away from what LeBron wants? I don't think so. But at the same time, you want to make sure your young star is taken care of. And apparently, they were never going to move Anthony Davis. They were never going to talk to anybody about trades because he was supposed to be the guy after LeBron. But Dallas called them and was like, "Hey, do y'all want Luca?" And they were like, "We'll give you Luca and some other players for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and some picks." I mean, when you get the
In
opportunity to get Luca,
2029. Not
like you're
even
not going
recent
to
picks. So.
like look, Luca. If you want to come on the podcast and express your frustration, open invite. I don't know if you probably don't even watch my podcast. I don't blame you. But if you wanted to come on and express your because it does not look. It looks like he's not happy to be in LA. Just because I think it's
Well, I
still
mean,
shell
you
shock for
can look
him
at the
that he
trade
got
and
traded.
see that it was a personal move. Like you can tell that it was a personal choice from the
Yeah.
GM to trade Luca, and I don't think he actually even tried to hide that. So I mean, if someone's talking
No.
about my body, my preparation, my conditioning, my love for the game, I don't think I would be that excited either because that's making it seem like he isn't, he didn't put his best foot forward. Granted, he's not in the same shape as LeBron James or somebody like that, but he did take that team to the finals last year, and he's the reason why Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, and all these other big name players even came to Dallas. So I feel like
Exactly.
I don't know the logistics behind it, but put a little respect on his name. You know what I mean? He may not have been perfect, but he damn sure was good.
Well, my thing is this, and Rodney, we'll let you get in a minute, but my thing is this. I don't care if your conditioning's bad. I don't care if you're a great defensive player or not. When you can on one night give me 50, 10, and 10, you do whatever you want. You go eat if you want to sit there on the sideline on the bench and eat a candy bar during the game, I'm gonna let you do it. Because I know on the floor you're gonna give me 50, 10, and 10 every night. Like that's my thing. I was very surprised that and he didn't hide that it was the GM that did it because he even said that Jason Kidd didn't know about it. The owners didn't know. Like nobody knew except for the GM between the Lakers and the Mavs. And in my opinion, if I'm Jason Kidd, I'm sitting there going, "Wait a minute. You traded away my best player who's 25 and didn't think to tell me beforehand? Didn't even think to have a discussion with me of do I really even want AD on my team?" Which credit to AD yesterday. I think he put up like 36 in the first three quarters before he got some soreness. I mean, he's dealing with I think believe it's a rib injury is what he's been dealing with. So he had some soreness in his
Abdominal.
midsection. Abdominal. Okay, so he had some soreness. And obviously they didn't bring him back in for the fourth quarter, which I understood. But Mavericks fans right now they're like all protesting the team and they're wanting to sell the team. And in a few months when they're in the NBA Finals, that won't be a problem because Clay's going to give you 30 on a good on any night. Kyrie can give you a good 25 and 10 on a good night. We saw what AD can do when he's healthy. I mean, he put up 30 yesterday and I think had like 10 rebounds. So they're in a better spot to win now. And I think a lot of it comes from Clay coming over there, Kyrie wanting to sign the extension. Of you know what? These guys are two superstar veterans that want to be here. So let's go try to win them a ring now. So that they can win without LeBron and without Steph. Because that's kind of been the knock on Kyrie is he can't win without LeBron. Just like the knock on KD's been he can't win without Steph. And the knock on Clay's been he can't win without Steph. So I think that's where the Mavericks were making this move is like, hey, let's try to win now. And for the Lakers, it's we can try to win now, but let's set it up for the future because they've got Austin Reeves, they've got Luka Doncic, they've got well, they had Mark Williams until
Rui.
last night.
They
Yeah, they got
they still
Rui.
got Rui Hachimura.
Yeah, they. I am very surprised that. Okay, I don't exactly know. I know in the NFL when they fail a physical, all that stuff, but like, how did he fail his physical? Like they said,
So
it
you have to
wasn't the
take
back
different.
injury.
Well, you have to. The doctors have to clear you on certain stuff. So when you fail your
Okay,
physical, that means the doctor didn't clear you.
okay.
I only
Well,
know that because I used to take a bunch of physicals in the military. So.
he's he's what, like 23, 24 years old?
But he hasn't played a full season in his entire career, so I mean that was an obvious red flag that he couldn't pass a physical.
Well, my thing was, I really thought because he was getting talked about either going to L.A. or going to Golden State. Walker Kessler in Utah. I was very surprised that nobody called about him, or if they
The
did,
price was high.
Utah just didn't. Utah just didn't want to move him. But like, if I'm L.A. right now, you don't have a big. Like you traded away your big, so your big now is what, Jackson Hayes, I think is his name.
Well, I
And
think the Utah Jazz wanted a lot in compensation for him, so that's why a lot of teams didn't necessarily trade for him. If you look at any
yeah,
trades that Utah had during the NBA trade deadline, it was like a 3 trade swap. Like they got in it to kind of get something almost like a refurbished price. Like they were a part of the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks trade, but it kind of went under the window. They were a part
that might
of the
have been
Golden
why they
State
didn't want to
Warriors and
trade
Miami
anybody to the
Heat.
lake.
Well,
Because I
well,
don't.
so when you're a part of that 3 party team, that third party kind of gets like the best benefit because they're not giving up any big names or any big money. They're just kind of like
Right.
that middleman. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that I think it was the coach or the GM in Utah was unaware because he came from Boston, but he was very unaware that he was helping the Lakers hit Luca. So maybe that's why he was like, "We're not trading anybody to the Lakers. It's not happening. If they call, just hang up the phone. Don't even answer it." Um,
Well, it's
but
very
Golden
it's
State,
very
I
a
thought,
corporate world. Like I think just as sports fans, we forget that
yeah,
it's all about the money. So
oh yeah,
like
no, it definitely
they're not
is.
looking at the loyalty of the player or the coach or the GM. They're like, how can I get the bang
Well,
for my buck?
going back to the Mark Williams trade from Charlotte, they sent Dalton Connect, who JJ Redick loved and who LeBron loves, and they sent him, and he's a rookie to Charlotte.
Well,
Now,
technically they didn't because the
I don't
trade was rescinded.
right, but my thing is they were willing to give up the guy that JJ really wanted in the draft last year because if I believe I remember correctly, JJ was the one that was like, we got to get Dalton. If he's there, we got to get him because he reminded him a lot of him. Just a better spot up three shooter, but a lot of Dalton's game mimics JJ's, and JJ was excited to coach him. But I mean, when you get Luka Doncic, everything changes. Now you
You
don't
have to
need
look
that
at it too, like it's a
spot up shooter.
business, Nick. So like
Yeah,
for
yeah.
instance with the Phoenix Suns, they say anybody was up for a trade except for Devin Booker. Kevin Durant is
Which
probably
I
one of the
don't under.
top 20 players of all time. They said everybody was on the chopping block except for Devin Booker. So they're looking at their investment, right? How much money have they put into
Right.
that person's development on the team? So Dalton Connect, no matter how much they liked him, he's the easiest disposable contract because he knew he a rookie.
And don't
I feel like
forget
the
Phoenix
only
with Bradley
unmovable.
Beal. They couldn't
Oh
trade
yeah,
Bradley Beal because Bradley
they
Beal has
right.
a no trade clause in his contract, so
They
Bradley Beal can't
basically
be
begged
cut.
him to go to Miami. They basically begged
Did
Bradley
wait.
Beal, please go to Miami. Please go to
Well,
Miami so we can
he's
get Jimmy Butler.
basically, I
Just do
mean,
it.
that's a good point that Rodney. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Nick.
I was just saying, like, Phoenix was basically begging Bradley Beal to go to Miami. And when they ultimately couldn't move him, they just went, all right, who wants Kevin Durant? And I know the Warriors called on Kevin Durant. And all I got to say to Kevin Durant is, I don't care if you like Draymond Green as a person. You could have won a championship with us. We could win a championship with you. You need to come home. come back to Golden State, hug Steph Curry, apologize, and just play basketball, dude. Jimmy Butler's doing it, and look, I'm not the biggest fan of Jimmy Butler as a person, but Jimmy Butler as a player, especially playoff Jimmy, I don't care if him and Draymond have to put on boxing gloves and fight in the locker room. As long as they coexist on the court, which last night it seemed like they did pretty well, that's all I care about. Because I feel like Draymond's one of those guys, and so is Jimmy and Steph, that they won't let any issues in the locker room leak to being on the court.
I
Thought
disagree.
Kevin Durant.
I disagree with that too. I disagree
Well,
with that too.
Okay, the
Don't,
Jordan Poole stuff was a bit different. Okay, we all saw the video of Draymond
But you
knocking
can't
him
skate
back.
past it.
no, there and also don't forget there was a video years ago when KD was on the Warriors. I think it was against the Rockets. There was a certain play, a specific play where Draymond did not pass the ball to KD, and KD was asking for the ball. He was saying, "I'm open, I'm open," and then they was on the bench arguing and whatnot. And
You
KD said
know,
himself that was the play that made him consider leaving Golden State the next year.
you know, I think Kevin Durant's just in his feelings. Okay, maybe he just didn't want to leave Devin Booker. Draymond is a great guy. Okay, is he a hothead? Yes, but so was Dennis Rodman. Hey, I mean, Johnson just compared his defense to Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman would go out partying the night before the game and then go play great defense the next night. So
But you gotta have
tomato,
an open
tomato, you know.
you gotta have an open mind, Nick. I kind of agree with Rodney a little bit on this one because, like, trust me, I'm a giant Steph Curry fan, but like, you can't be biased about the team or the player that you like.
Oh no,
In my
no.
opinion, Draymond Green is the reason why they don't have a lot of big names that stayed with the Golden State Warriors that wanted to come over there. Everybody
That's
loves
why
Steph
I
Curry.
actually,
That's why
I
KD
love
I will
Steph
say
left.
Curry.
this. I will say this.
Yeah.
I will say this. I
That's why
do
KD
think
left.
that
I feel like it's the reason why Clay left. I mean, if you think
Hmm.
about it,
I
he
was going to
never
get to that.
really
Yeah.
had that connection with anybody but Steph Curry.
Right.
Well, the only reason he's got the connection with Steph is because he's the guy that sets up Steph for the shots because he sets up a
Well,
lot of the screens for
obviously,
Steph.
if he doesn't get along with Steph, he's gonna not be on the team. Like, let's
Yeah.
address the obvious in the room.
But I will say this though. And you can go back and look at any of my takes on basketball, which is not a lot, but there are a little bit. Because I watch the NBA, but I watch them ad nauseum. Like I'll watch Warriors games, I'll watch Lakers stuff, and then I'll watch them when they're on TV. But I don't really watch a whole lot of games unless they're like really good matchups in the NBA. I said last year after we lost in the playoffs or in the play-in to Sacramento. Thank God De'Aaron Fox is no longer in Sacramento. That man gave me nightmares. That I wanted Draymond gone. That I wanted Draymond to be traded because I felt like him getting suspended twice last year is what cost us a playoff spot. That put us in the position where we had to be in the play-in because him not playing hurt our team on defense, and it was because he did stupid stuff that was immature and got suspended. And I do agree with you, Jocelyn. I think Clay leaving had a lot to do with Draymond still being there. But at the same time, like you said, it's a money thing. They didn't have any more years invested in Clay. They've got another year invested in Draymond. Steph's going to be there because if you trade Steph Curry, I'm pretty sure the Warriors franchise would get burned down by the fans. Because like he's been there since, but he was there when the team was bad, when they had Monty Ellis. So you can't get
I
rid of
mean, it's the
Steph.
team.
Like he is the reason anybody. Like he's the reason KD came there. He's a
It's his
if
team. It's always been his team. So, like,
It will
yeah,
always be
he
his
we could
team.
get
on
Yeah.
record
we
saying
could
he
get
wants
rid
to
of
retire as a Warrior.
right. We could get rid of Steve Kerr for all I care. Get us a new coach in there. Just don't get rid of Steph. Because like Steph and like Jimmy Butler said in his press conference, he was like, "Look, when it comes to playing with Steph, it's get the ball to Steph, get out of the way. We won't have a problem with that. That's what I got to do. That's what I got to do." And I agree. But here's the thing though. That's always been the game plan with the Warriors. It was always get the ball in Steph's hands or get the ball in Clay's hands. For the last couple months, it's been get the ball in Steph's hands and get out of the way. No, like well, I'll be honest. So when I'm playing 2K25, if I'm playing with the Warriors, I don't even let anybody else score on the team. So I'll purposely miss shots when Steph's off the court. Like I don't let anybody else. It is Steph or nobody, in my opinion, and that's how I feel like the Warriors go about it. But now we've got Jimmy Butler, so there is somebody else to take that pressure off Steph of being the primary ball handler. But I mean, Steph is still the primary ball handler. I don't care. Jimmy can bring it up the court for all I care. Just get the ball in Steph's hands and everybody else back away. Nobody get involved because Steph can pull up from the middle of the court and be fine.
It's still
And
not
not
going to
just
be
like
enough.
throw it up and hope. He can straight up just pull up and shoot from there. So
It's still not enough though, because even with all the trades that happened with the Lakers and the Warriors, at the end of the day, you're good to make the playoffs, but at the end of the day, is you got to think about it. Here's the bigger picture: is it enough to beat
I
the
didn't say we
OKC
won a
Thunder?
playoff series.
Is it enough to beat the OKC Thunder? Because clearly the OKC Thunder is head and shoulders above everybody else. They're hunting for their first title on OKC. So you got to look
I
at it.
don't.
Is it enough to
I
beat the
don't agree
OKC
with
Thunder?
that. I
No.
don't agree with that. Ron.
Like
I feel like
this year, I can't see nobody else. I can't see nobody beating the Thunder in the playoffs. I think the Thunder is still going to make it out the West, even with all the
I
trades
can
that
see
happened.
somebody beating them. I can see
I
somebody
agree with
beating them.
Rodney. I agree with Rodney. I think they're the best team in the NBA, not even the West. Right now, they're the best team in the NBA.
The whole
Definitely.
NBA, even with the
Yeah.
Cavs are doing,
Well, I
the
mean,
Cavs
like,
just beat the crap out of
I still got
Washington.
okay. I still got OKC because here's the
Shay,
thing.
I know you said you watch a little bit of basketball. I am a basketball savant. I watch
OKC
basketball
is the
day in,
best.
day out.
They got
The
the
Okay.
West
front
and the
runner.
East aren't even measured in the same. Like, there's no way
There's
that
one
the
team though in the
Cavaliers are
West.
beating the Thunder in a 7-game series.
It's a short list, but there's one team in the West.
It's not the
Maybe
Warriors. Please
two.
don't
Maybe
don't.
two. No,
It's not the
I'm
Warriors.
not.
Don't get started.
I'm a fan of the Warriors, but I'm realistic. We're gonna be
Obviously,
a first round exit if we make it. If we make it, we're still in the play-in situation we got going on there. And we may not even make that. If we run into Sacramento, we're definitely out in the play-in. I just hope they don't make it. But they did get better, I think, with Zach LaVine, though. Um, I think the Mavericks, it once Clay, Kyrie, and AD get going, I think the Mavs can beat the Thunder. It sounds crazy,
I
but
think you get a little wrapped up
I
on the
don't
big
think the
names.
Thunder.
Yeah, we need to wrap up on the trade deadline, because how can you beat a team with listen, you got the MVP front runner, you got the MVP front runner in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, you got, Alex Caruso, you got J Dub, you got Isaiah Hartenstein for the defense. How can you stop this team when they got depth on the starting lineup and the bench?
Hold on though. I think the Mavericks just have more size. I think they have more size and they're more physical. They've got Gadford, Lively,
Chet Holmgren.
who just came back from injury.
Chet Holmgren
Elbow
7-1.
here.
Who's
You
gonna
don't-
stop
The
Chet
man told me to
Holmgren?
get
Hold on,
injured yesterday.
Rodney.
What are you talking about?
Rodney, you're telling me that you don't think that Anthony Davis, Gafford, and Lively, if Gafford and AD are on the court at the same time, because AD's gonna play the 4 in Dallas, or if Lively and AD are on the floor at the same time, that team with that size can't beat OKC.
Okay, then
With
who's gonna
Clay and
stop
Kyrie,
Shea?
first of all,
You just said that he had an injury. Two of those
Clay's a
three
really
players have
good.
not played the entire season because of injuries. So, like, why would
Okay,
you think
fair
that
point,
the
fair
injuries
point,
that
fair
the Dallas Mavericks have are like super, super different from Chet Holmgren having an
I'm just saying.
injury?
I think because of the size. I
AD
think
was
the
injured
size is a lot.
yesterday. Derek Lively hasn't played half the
That's a fair
season.
point.
So I'm like,
That is a fair
I
point.
think you
Let's
get
move
too
on to the
wrapped
Super
up in
Bowl.
the big name
Let's move on to
stars.
Right. And
Well,
who's gonna stop?
at
Who's
least I
gonna
didn't
stop
say the
Shea?
Warriors.
Who's gonna stop Shea? Who's gonna stop Shea? That's all I gotta say. Who's gonna stop Shea? Because Kyrie plays no defense. We all know that. So who's gonna stop Shea? I
Clay
ended
plays
at that.
defense. That's good. Clay's played defense really well in the past. Maybe I just also the experience in the
Oh,
playoffs. I feel like the experience in the playoffs is going to be on Dallas' side. Anyway, what we all know it's not going to be the Warriors or Lakers. We can agree on that. And
I don't
I still
see.
think Cleveland or I still think Cleveland or Boston wins the championship. I don't think OKC does it because of
I'm a Boston
experience.
fan, so
I
I'm
think
gonna agree with that. The
yeah, there we go.
the what
I got Rodney
the
on my side for a second.
but
Johnson, do
the
you have
thing
an
is,
NBA team?
but here's the thing. I'm gonna end it with this with the NBA subject. I think my prediction for the NBA Finals. I think it's gonna be Boston and OKC. Boston and OKC.
You're not gonna lie about prediction.
Who's your prediction?
I'm sure it's very
I'm
biased.
gonna go.
Don't. I
I'm gonna
bet.
go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Cleveland and Mavericks. I don't think there's gonna be no Boston in it this year, buddy. All right, Rodney's gone. We'll remove him real quick. He's
Oh
walking
my
out.
God!
Exit stage left. All right, let's move on to
Let's
what we're really here for. We had to cover the trade deadline for a little bit. Let's
thank
get to the
you.
Super Bowl showdown. We got Mahomes, we got Hurts, we got Barkley, we got Pacheco, we got Kelsey, we got Goddard. Jocelyn, obviously, we all know we're all going to be watching the game. I know you will, and you will for sure be making a video after it, probably. I know I'm going to make a video reacting to it, and depending on how it goes, my video can be very, very fun to watch. We'll see how the game goes. I know Rodney's probably going to make a prediction or make a video and or call me after the game.
I will.
One of those two things. Honestly, dude, we should just do a show after the game. Just like live react after the game, probably. If it's not like terribly too late for you. Because I know you're an hour ahead. But anyway. Jocelyn, you are our guest. So you are going to make your prediction first. Who do you think wins? Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid or Jalen Hurts? Hold on. Or Saquon Barkley and Nick Sirianni?
First of all, I will never take any Jalen Hurts disrespect as a Alabama fan.
I like Jalen
But
too. I like Jalen too. I like Jalen too, but we know who the face of the franchise is right now for the Eagles. We know who's getting all the press. That's why I went with Barkley.
he is definitely
But
not the face of the franchise, but he's getting a lot of press, and that's great for him.
yeah,
But I will move on. So there's three things that I think about going to the Super Bowl. One, it's amazing to me that the NBA has overshadowed the NFL this entire week. Everyone has cared way more about the NBA trades than the Super Bowl. And I think that's pretty unique. That normally doesn't happen. Two,
Right.
I am super excited about Lamar performance because I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. So I'm excited to see what he's going to
shout out
do.
Kendrick.
And I love SZA, so we'll see how it goes today. But that's probably to be honest, that's what I'm looking forward to the most with the entire game is the Kendrick Lamar performance. Now
Agreed.
to my prediction.
I think most people watching the game are looking forward to that more than the actual game.
Me too.
I think
Me
so.
too.
Yeah,
Me too.
but I think the Eagles can win. I think the Eagles can win. My only thing is Patrick Mahomes kind of give me that Tom Brady juju. Like it's very hard for me to bet against Patrick Mahomes. He always finds a way. But I do think the Philadelphia Eagles are the more complete team.
Yeah,
I can agree. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. It's just that this year, because here's the thing that you got to realize: the Eagles had the number one ranked defense this year, and if you saw the offense for the Chiefs this year, it wasn't as strong as it is previous years. Like the offense, yeah, you can say it's been injuries and whatnot. It's just I never said this year one time that the Chiefs offense can help them win a Super Bowl. It was the defense that really took over for the Chiefs this year. But here's the thing though. The Chiefs in the playoffs has not yet played someone at the level of Saquon Barkley. Yes, the Bills had James Cook, but he's not Saquon Barkley. The Texans had Joe Mixon, but he's not Saquon Barkley. And also, the Eagles arguably have the best offensive line in the game, led by Lane Johnson. So that's another thing that you got. The main thing that I think Philly needs to do to win this game, they're going to have to double team on Chris Jones. I mean, that's a given fact. That's obvious.
Yeah.
And obviously, Saquon needs to have the game of his life. I say with Saquon, the Chiefs have a great defense. We can't take that away. I think Saquon needs to go for over 150 yards to have a chance to win this game. Jalen, now we all know he had the concussion and he had that injury against the Rams in the playoffs. So that's going to be something to look out for Jalen Hurts in this game. Is he going to be as mobile as he usually is because of the injuries? That's something to look out for as well. And then with Philly on the defense, the front, the trenches, that's the strong point with Philly. The main weakness of the Philly defense was the corners and the safeties. So the main thing you need to worry about with Philly's defense is the corners and the safeties going to be able to stop the speed of Xavier Worthy. Because y'all know Xavier Worthy with his speed, if he's in the zone, he can go through you. And the main thing they need to do on defense, stop Travis Kelce. Because I still don't understand how Travis Kelce, who's not as fast as he was when he was younger, keeps getting open. Don't leave Travis open. Don't leave Travis Kelce open.
He's getting open. I know why he keeps getting open. He runs his own routes. He doesn't even run what's called. He's admitted that. Mahomes has admitted that. He runs his own routes. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do.
I just still don't understand how he's not as fast as he used to be, and he still finds a way to get open. So that's what Philly needs to do. The three things that Philly needs to do to win this game: run, Saquon, run. Stop Travis Kelce. Stop Chris Jones. And if you do all three of those things, you got a chance to win. So I got Philly win the game, and I got Saquon Barkley winning Super Bowl MVP.
You forgot one other person that Philly's got to stop. You mentioned Chris Jones. I love Chris Jones. You got to stop George Karlaftis. Because if you're double teaming Chris Jones, George is going to pick on the outside. He's going to pick on the tackles. And look, I know Lane Johnson's one of the best offensive tackles in the league ever. George Karlaftis is right up there with one of the best defensive ends playing right now. I would put him and Trey Hendrickson almost tied as far as who's the better defensive tackle or the better defensive end. On third downs, George Karlaftis can get to the quarterback. So you forgot that one part. But you also forgot this. DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid calling plays. I don't care if you've got God on your side. I don't see the Eagles winning this game. I just don't. Like Nick's here, because here's my thing. Who do you trust more defensively? Vic Fangio, who I've watched call a defense last year in Miami, or Steve Spagnuolo? And I think I mispronounced his name, and I apologize if I did. But the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, who's a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator. Do you trust Andy Reid or Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni? I think we all kind of know where we trust. Where Andy Reid's done it. He's won. Now, it did take him getting Patrick Mahomes to win those 3 Super Bowls. Mahomes has also only lost 3 times in his career in the playoffs. He lost in 2019 to Brady. He lost in 2021 to Burrow. And he lost in 2020 to Brady.
In the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Or it might have been 2018 that he lost to Brady. I might have that mixed up. But he's only lost 3 times in his entire playoff career. And I looked back at but I also looked at the NFC Championship game and the AFC Championship game from 2 weeks ago. The Eagles scored 55 points on the Commanders. The Chiefs scored 32 points on the Bills. The Commanders' defense is better than the Chiefs' defense as a whole, I believe. They've got more leaders, they got more veterans. But I always said, and I hated doing it because I was a Dolphins fan, I would never bet against Tom Brady. I'm not betting against Mahomes. The only time I ever bet against Mahomes was in that Super Bowl when he played Tom Brady because he never bet against Tom Brady. I ain't betting against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo and that defense. And you mentioned also, let's say they stop George Karlaftis and they stop Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill. Heck, the DBs, the 2 DBs they got, the safeties they got a lot of dudes. Not to mention, they've got a better kicker, in my opinion. I think Harrison Buckner is a better kicker than Jake Elliott. And I would trust Buckner to make a game-winning field goal more than I would Jake Elliott. Let's also remember, their special teams has already blocked 2 field goals this year. And Mahomes is undefeated in his career in a dome. He's never lost in a dome, and they're in a dome tonight. He's only ever lost 1 Super Bowl, which irks me because I don't want to see Mahomes. I would rather both teams lose if that's possible. I'm rooting for the Eagles because of Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts and the Bama connection. But I can't bet against Mahomes. They find a way to win. And look, I know there's gonna be people online after the game. If the Chiefs win, they're gonna say, "Oh, the refs did it." You know, the refs, they paid the ref. The refs call what they can. Does Mahomes get more calls than other quarterbacks? Yeah. But Mahomes has also won 3 Super Bowls. Mahomes has also been the face of the league since Brady left.
That doesn't mean you're supposed to get special calls. But
Exactly.
before you go, I want to say, per this morning, I agree with Rodney. I think me and Rodney are kind of synced up today. But I do have one difference of I feel like this is going to be a revenge game for Jalen Hurts because he has been on record this week saying that he still has the taste in his mouth from when they lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, fair point.
And they should have won that game.
I agree. And I don't feel like it's going to be the running.
Yeah, but there was the holding call and all that.
He's going to get over 100 yards regardless. But if you if you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, I think Jalen Hurts is going to air that thing out. He's going to throw for over 200 yards. And he is going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl today. My bold prediction. Because I think everyone is looking for the run game. You know Saquon's going to run. You know Jalen is a running threat. How they can switch it up is to air that thing out. You got 2 of the best wide receivers in the game, so why would you not?
Fair point. And I get that. My thing is that I just, Mahomes, I don't think I can. I'm rooting for the Eagles. I want the Eagles to win because as a Dolphins fan, if I see the Chiefs win another Super Bowl, I might lose my mind. That's why if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, look out for the video I'll be making after the game because I will go scorched earth on the Chiefs. But also, you mentioned Jalen, the revenge game. There was a video that was posted, I think, by the NFL, or maybe it was by the Eagles themselves, of Jalen walking in the locker room area or in the hallway towards the locker room at the Super Bowl at the Caesar Dome. And he looked up at the TV, and it was NFL Network, and the caption on the TV was, "How will Mahomes win the Super Bowl?" It wasn't who will win. It was how will Mahomes win. So I think that's added motivation. Plus, if I remember correctly, 2 years ago, I don't know if he's changed it or not, but 2 years ago, Jalen's lock screen photo was the Chiefs celebrating the Super Bowl after the loss. And I think, unlike the 49ers, the Eagles have a chance here to go win this year. They could win next year. they could win all 3 years that Barkley's under contract because they've got Jalen Hurts locked down for at least another 3 or 4 years. They've got Barkley locked down for 3 years. They've got A.J. Brown. I believe they're going to renegotiate his deal, but I think he's going to be locked down. Devontae Smith is still locked down for another 2 years on his rookie deal. They're in the window to win now. And I think with Brandon Graham coming back off the injury after he got hurt in week 12, he's elevated. He's going to play today. He's already said, this is going to be my last game. This is it for me. Like he said that earlier in the week. He said, yeah, I'm just grateful to be playing in it, but this is my last game. I also think Lane Johnson could be close to retirement, if not ready to retire. I could easily see the Eagles playing for the veterans, playing for the guys in the locker room, that it could be their last game. Similar to how I really think last year the Eagles fought their hardest. I think they just had so many issues in the locker room that they just couldn't overcome. But I think they felt guilty that they let Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox walk away without another Super Bowl ring. So I think that's going to be extra motivation for them this year, is let's not let that happen to Brandon Graham and Lane Johnson. Because I don't know if Lane's retiring. I haven't heard him say anything. But nobody really thought Kelce was going to retire after last year either. That came out of nowhere.
So then you answered your question. Then you basically answered the question that I was thinking about asking. Who has more to lose? Who has the most to gain? And it's
I think
easily the Eagles have the most to gain because here's the thing. They're not going into a situation where they got 3 Super Bowl rings. I mean, they got one, but that's been almost 10 years ago. So with Kansas City, they really don't have that much to gain. The only thing they have to gain is they could be the first team to three-peat. And if you look at all the other teams that had a chance to three-peat, none of them made the Super Bowl. All the teams in the past that had a chance to three-peat, none of them made the Super Bowl. So yeah, you can say that with the Chiefs, but like you just said, Brandon Graham is retiring. Lane Johnson may retire if they win. So, and plus, if Saquon wins the Super Bowl this year, that would put the icing on the cake of not only for him, but running backs in general. Because y'all remember the contract situation with the running backs. Teams did not appreciate running backs. But if Saquon can not only get 2,000 yards, win Offensive Player of the Year, have a great game this game, and win Super Bowl MVP, I truly think contract situations for the running backs could change forever if they win this game. Because I think Saquon is going to do this for all the running backs. You got to pay us and give us what we're worth. Because look what I did this year. My first year with my new team, I could have broke the record for the most rushing yards in a season all time. I could have done that.
He should have.
So if Saquon can do this and be the most impactful player tonight, not only is he going to do it for the running backs for himself, but for all my Giants fans, he's going to prove once and for all, y'all should have paid me and y'all screwed up.
Who's Dallas's running back? You want to throw shots at the Giants fans? Look, I think it'd be a great story for Saquon because we all saw the video last year when he signed with the Eagles of his daughter saying, "Does that mean we're going to win more?" And Saquon goes, "Hopefully so." And his first year to win the Super Bowl with the Eagles, that'd be awesome. But I also think the Eagles have the most to lose in this game because the Chiefs would lose the shot at the three-peat, but it's not going to take away from Mahomes' legacy or Kelce's legacy. And we're not talking about it enough. Travis Kelce might retire after this game. He's 34. I mean, it's no secret who he's dating. 34, 35. It's no secret who he's dating. He could retire and travel with her, and they could have a great life together. I really hope that they end up together forever. Like I genuinely want that for Travis and her. That'd be great. Mainly because I think it'll be comedy for everywhere he goes. He's asked about her cats more than he asked about the game. I don't know if y'all saw that. Reporters were asking him about her cats. more than the game this week. It was weird. And they were also asking about a ring and all this other stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, Super Bowl rings are nice. They have diamonds in them." But yeah, he was dodging the questions. But I do think Travis could retire. But my thing is this: if the Eagles lose again to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and Brandon Graham retires, and possibly Lane Johnson retires, they got to go back in that locker room next year. Okay, what do we do? And then the 49ers did. The 49ers lost twice to the Chiefs. They went, crap, what do we do? Also, is A.J. Brown going to want to re-sign if he doesn't feel like he can win a championship there? We all saw what the 49ers had to go through with Brandon Ayuk. You think A.J. Brown won't put the Eagles through that? I think he will. Will Devontae Smith want to re-sign? Will Saquon Barkley want to re-sign when his deal's up? Like this could end up being the opening for them to have their own dynasty, or this could be the closing of the window for all of them. You lose one. Dan Marino lost the Super Bowl and never got back. Now Montana never lost in the Super Bowl. He went 4-0, but I don't know if Montana's Montana without winning all four. Brady went 7-3 in Super Bowls, which was absurd. But it's not a guarantee that they're going to get back. And the NFC is going to be better next year. You're going to have San Francisco healthy. You're going to have Washington, who's probably going to try to get a number one receiver, probably Cooper Kupp. Or maybe they sign T. Higgins in free agency. They're going to get better. Jaden Daniels, the window with the Commanders is now wide open. Jaden's on a rookie contract. I'd say get whatever you need to get him over that hump. I still think they need to trade for Myles Garrett, or at least try to. Because I think
Detroit's going to be healthy.
Number one.
And Detroit's going to be fully healthy next year. Detroit's going to be healthy.
And they may end up trading for Myles Garrett. Could you imagine Myles Garrett on one side and Aiden Hutchinson on the other side?
Woo! Woo!
I don't want to see that.
I want for my life if I was playing.
With some of with some of the Bama boys, Brian Branch, Terrion Arnold, and those boys on Detroit, Jahmyr Gibbs, I'd love to see them in the Super Bowl. I had the Super Bowl this year to be the Bills and the Lions, and Aiden Hutchinson's injury messed everything up for me.
I said the Ravens. I said the Super Bowl we should have got last year. The Super Bowl we should have got last year was the Ravens and the Lions, and I thought we were going to get that this year.
Well, Josh Allen, the actual MVP, the real MVP, said
oh my God,
he didn't want. We can get into that in a minute. Oh no, she's getting set. I struck a nerve.
But if I may answer the question that Rodney put out, I know we were kind of going on some of the trades and possible things going on in the NFL. I agree with you both with who has more to gain and lose, but I feel like it's an even mix. I think people forget about some of the disrespect that's been going on for both sides. I think Nick hit on a great point when it was like it's been like, what does Patrick Mahomes have to do to win the Super Bowl? Like Jalen Hurts doesn't even exist. So that is disrespectful. For Patrick Mahomes, this is the first time in his career that he didn't make it to the Pro Bowl. Well, he wasn't selected for the Pro Bowl. That's disrespectful. Travis Kelce, arguably one of the greatest tight ends, if not number one to ever play the game, is only being asked questions about Taylor Swift as he's going to the Super Bowl. That's disrespectful. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith have had to take a back seat to the running game like they're not elite running backs. That's disrespectful. DeAndre Hopkins came over and chose the Kansas City Chiefs just to win a Super Bowl, and people are acting like he ain't even there. That's disrespectful. So I think each team has a lot to prove, but for different ways. I don't think the Chiefs care like, oh, we need another ring. I think they're looking at it like we're some of the biggest names in the game, and people are treating us like we're just a rinse and repeat cycle. And I look at it like with the Philadelphia Eagles, like how you said, a lot of these top-notch quarterbacks or teams only made it to the Super Bowl once and never made it. going to the Super Bowl twice in the span of 5 years is impressive. I don't care if you won or lost. A lot of teams never have and never will do it. I mean, hell, everybody's always talking about Josh Allen this, Joe Burrow this, Lamar Jackson this. What about my boy Jalen Hurts? You know what I mean? So I'm like, he's doing something that none of them have done. So I think like the caliber of some of these players are being disrespected, and they're going in to get their respect. Like the Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl ring, great. But sometimes I always tell people, sometimes I gotta let folks know who I am. And I feel like a lot of these players, their names have been kind of like slid on. It's almost like with LeBron. LeBron has been great for so long, he doesn't always get the credit for being great for so long. So I think like that's kind of like what's happening to Patrick Mahomes at this point. Like he's literally the best. The mark of beating someone is beating him. But you had what 4, 5, maybe even 6 quarterbacks be selected over Patrick Mahomes. I know you lying to me.
You had Sam Darnold go to the Pro Bowl instead of Mahomes get selected. No shot at Sam. Sam did great this year.
I feel you.
But look at who Sam had. But look at who Sam was throwing the ball to.
Jordan Addison,
T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. Like, look at what Mahomes had to work with. Rice gets hurt in like week 4. Brown got hurt in training camp and didn't even play the entire season. D Hop comes over like what, week 8 is when he came over. Xavier Worthy, outside of that first game against the Ravens, he didn't really shine until the playoffs started. Travis Kelce was getting beat up and was not putting up the numbers that we're used to seeing him put up in the regular season. And also, like Travis from the beginning of the season got disrespected with, well, maybe he's out of shape because he was traveling so much, and he doesn't, his heart's not in it, and all. I don't care if Travis Kelce was hosting a late night show with Travis does a podcast with his brother. Travis also goes to practice every day and puts in the work. And you can tell he puts in the work by the love he has for the game on Sunday. Now look, I'm not going to say that Travis had a great year because he didn't. Numbers wise, he didn't. But Gronk didn't have a great year with Tampa when he was there, but they won the Super Bowl and he showed up in that. Also, you mentioned the disrespect for Jalen and AJ and Devontae. AJ kind of started some of that disrespect by him saying that the passing game had issues in Philly, but also they got that fixed. they got that fixed. And my thing is, Jalen, yes, he runs the football, but I think he's a better passer than he is a runner. Now, I do think if Saquon Barkley gets down at the 1-yard line, everybody's going to know what's coming, and it's going to be, the quarterback sneak with Jalen.
Yep.
But who's to say that they don't? Because everybody, like you said, Jocelyn, everybody's going to expect them to run because they know Jalen can run. They know Saquon can put up 200 yards. Who's to say they don't do some play action pass? Who's to say Kellen Moore doesn't revert back to what he did in Dallas and start doing option and start doing jet sweeps with Devontae and AJ and start doing end around stuff and start just scheming up plays that we hadn't seen all year that gets the receivers the ball in space. Kellen Moore, I think people forget Kellen Moore is a very bright young mind in the game. Now, would I trust him over an Andy Reid?
No.
I wouldn't, just because experience. But would I trust? Also, Nick Sirianni gets a lot of people were talking about firing Nick Sirianni at one point this year, and it's like they've only lost like 2 games all year, I think, maybe 3. But I looked up the spread, so the Chiefs are favored by 1, so we're expecting a close game here, and it's under 49.5 points for the total. I don't think it'll be I think it will be a close game, but at the same time, I can see the Eagles blowing the doors open. Because also, you mentioned, the Chiefs need to, or the Eagles need to stop Chris Jones and
Yeah.
George Karlaftis. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. There is no I don't care. They've got Joe Tooney playing tackle now for the Eagles. You don't think Jordan Davis is going to have a field day and Jalen Carter is going to have a field day going through the interior of that Eagle or that Chiefs offensive line? Them boys beat people up. They don't care. They'll run over you.
Jalen Carter literally picked up a whole human being in a game. You think he ain't gonna rip through that hole?
Jalen, it was said earlier this week. I can't remember if it was on Get Up or First Take. It was on an ESPN show. I know that much. It was said earlier this week. Jalen Carter is a lot like Lawrence Taylor. He's got that potential to be the Lawrence Taylor. This is his game to prove, hey, I can go up against the best and I can beat the best. Because the interior of that offensive line for the Chiefs is very good. It's the tackles that have been the problem. But also, I think Jalen Carter's got the athleticism. You could put him on the outside and he could get through tackle. He could get through a tackle. I think he could be an edge guy like Aaron Donald and get through a tackle. Another team, and it's been rumored that Myles Garrett wants to go there. That's why I'm throwing it out. Could you imagine if Myles Garrett went to Philadelphia? We just
They would
talked
be the
about if they
best.
win this game.
They would be the
We
best
talked about
team.
if they win this game. If they win this game, it opens up that door, that Super Bowl window, that they could win 2 to 3. That if they win this game, that means stars, legends are going to want to go play with Jalen Hurts, Myles Garrett, Tyreek Hill will stop them out Kansas City, and he might want to go to Philly.
I honestly think that they have enough right now, personally. Like I think, like I appreciate your theory of like all these big name stars may want to come play with them, but I feel like the Eagles don't need that. The Commanders absolutely do need some big names to come play with them. Exactly. I think they have enough, and I think you hit on a great point that I think is gonna make sense for them. A close game will be more exciting for everyone, but I think for the Philadelphia Eagles, they need to knock them in the teeth. You don't give somebody like Patrick Mahomes a window to come through the door. Like, I'm a Falcons fan, and I say that very sadly and humbly, that I watched. They left the door open just a little bit for Tom Brady and what he did at that Super Bowl. In order for them to beat Patrick Mahomes, you got to come out and punch him in the mouth from the first play. Like, you can't leave it a 1-point game or a field goal. Because like how you said, they got a field goal kicker. They got a more experienced coach, a more experienced quarterback. It has to be a beatdown for them to win. Because like if you're winning with Patrick Mahomes, if you're winning or if you're up 2 to 3 touchdowns by halftime, that's still not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my thing is this though.
My prediction was whoever wins this game, it's going to come down who has the better game in the trenches. If you're Philly, you need to beat them down in the trenches, just like you said, Johnson. You need to beat them down in the mouth, and I think that's going to a good thing for Philly to win this game. Beat them down in the trenches. You got a chance.
I also think, yes, the Eagles have A.J. Brown and they have Devontae Smith. But let's say they get up by 3 scores. They're gonna go to Saquon Barkley. They're not even gonna think about they're not gonna risk throwing the ball because they're gonna be like, yeah, because honestly, when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, the only thing they really had was Matt Ryan and Julio Jones.
They disagree. They did. They had
Devonta Freeman.
Devonta Freeman. He could have been the Super Bowl MVP that game. He played.
But the problem was when they were up, they kept throwing and throwing and throwing.
Exactly. They went away from what was working in that first half. The first half, Devonta Freeman was running the ball down their throat. For some crazy reason, after halftime, they want to air it out to Julio Jones. They want to air it out to everybody.
Now, Philly, if you're now here's my last thing with Philly, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say with Philly. If you're up 3 scores, You need to give the ball to Saquon. Run clock. Kill clock. Because you're up 3 scores. Give the ball to Saquon. Keep getting first
Yeah.
downs. So that way, Kansas City has absolutely no chance to come back. So,
Here's
Philly,
my thing.
my prayers, please be answered. I don't want the Chiefs to win. I do not, I hate the Chiefs because of everything that's been going on. Philly, Saquon, represent Penn State, represent everybody. Jalen Carter, represent them Georgia Dogs. Get us that win, guys.
This is getting clipped because you're a Cowboys fan. This will be clipped and posted because you're a Cowboys fan praying for the Eagles to win.
I know.
You
I
are a
can't
bad
stand
fan.
it. I
You're a
can't
bad
stand it.
fan. Look, dude,
I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest, man. I hate the Chiefs more than I hate the Eagles.
that's not supposed to be the way it is. The
I'm
Eagles are
sorry.
in your division.
I know. Man,
Also,
I got
I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think the Eagles can win this game, but I think Mahomes will win. I can't see myself. Because like I said, in order for the Eagles to win, they got to blow the doors open. But I don't know if they're going to be able to stop Mahomes in the offense because they are healthy and they're coming off a bye week. And Andy Reid off a bye week is like undefeated. Like he's very good. Mahomes has only lost 1 Super Bowl. This is a shot at history that we may never see again because we never thought we'd see it when when we thought Brady and the Patriots would do it back in 2008 or 2007. I don't think there's a shot. I There's another shot we ever see it again, and I think in order for Mahomes I'm not going to say surpass Brady because I think he needs 8 rings to be able to do that, but to legitimately be in the conversation of the greatest of all time, he's got to win the three-peat. He's got to do what Brady couldn't do because you already lost to Brady in a Super Bowl. You turn around and lose another one, and you didn't three-peat. I don't think it's going to matter if you win 7 or 8. People are still going to say because people. You look at LeBron. LeBron's won 4 titles, but everybody goes, "Well, MJ's the GOAT because he won 6,
and he
and he did it 6
three-peated
straight."
twice. And he
Yeah,
three-peated twice.
he won 6 straight years. It's not fair.
And if he didn't retire, he probably could have won 8 straight.
Okay, well he didn't. Okay, and that's what's important now. He retired, which I think Jordan's a GOAT. Even at my age, I think Jordan's a GOAT. I don't think LeBron's a GOAT. I think LeBron's second in the GOAT conversation. But I think Jordan's a GOAT. And I think Magic's the best point guard I've ever seen in my life. But that's just, that's I've watched I've watched those Jordan finals on YouTube. He scares me. But and also his name is a global brand. Like the Brady brand is a global name. The Jordan brand is a global name. Mahomes and LeBron, they don't have a global name attached to them. They've got deals with like Nike and stuff, but when you think of Jordan, you don't think of Nike. You think of Jordan. When you think of Brady, you don't think of Nike or whatever. You think of Brady. It's the Brady brand. It's the Jordan brand. It's not the Nike brand. You know what I mean? Like the name carries more weight because of what they did. So I think Mahomes needs to three-peat in order to be in that conversation. But I will say, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, Nick Saban, forgive me.
Oh no.
I just think those Georgia Bulldogs that they've got on defense in Philadelphia are a bit more vicious and a bit more temperamental than what Kansas City's got.
I need you to
I
clip
think
that. If you want to clip what I said, clip what you said about your Alabama. Clip it.
I didn't say anything bad about Bama. Hold on, no. I didn't say anything bad about Bama. I said Nick Saban, forgive me for saying something good about Georgia. I never said something because I think that hold on now, Devontae Smith, okay, Jalen Hurts, they're on Philadelphia, so I'm rooting for them. That's why I'm rooting for Philly, because they're on Philadelphia's team. You shouldn't be rooting for either of them, because I don't know if there's an LSU player on either team. I could be
No.
wrong. I don't think there is.
No.
And
I don't think
you're a Cowboys fan rooting for the Eagles. I don't want to hear it.
I'm rooting for Saquon. I'm not rooting for the Eagles. I'm rooting for Saquon.
Oh, so you're like me when it comes to the Bills. I'm not rooting for the Bills. I'm rooting for Josh Allen. Is that what it is? That's what you're doing? Man,
I said everything I had to say. I said everything I had to
Yeah.
say.
Johnson, you got anything to add?
No, I mean, I think the Super Bowl is going to be a good game. I just personally, I'm not invested in either team. Like, to be honest, I don't really. It doesn't
Well,
make
that's
me
how
feel
I
any
feel.
type of way
I'm
if the
just
Chiefs
watching it
or
because it'll be
the
a good. I
Eagles
think it'll be a
win.
good game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be an entertaining game. I would like for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, they all kind of deserve a little bit more respect than what they have been getting. So I love an underdog story. Hell, I'm an underdog, so I always want an underdog to be able to win and come out victorious. But I'll probably not even go to a Super Bowl party. I'll just kind of turn it on as I'm at home because I have a lot of work to do today and tomorrow. But I do think it'll be an entertaining game. And no offense to you, Nick, but as a Black woman during Black History Month, I think that it should go noted that there are two Black quarterbacks playing in the Super Bowl, and
Oh
that
no.
itself
Yeah. No.
something that
Absolutely.
that's something I think that deserves a lot of praise, and that makes me happy to see the evolution of the game, the evolution of the quarterback, because they both have different skill sets, and just something that we could celebrate during this month of Black History. So.
No. Yeah. I completely agree. I'm no issue there. Second time in history too. It happened, and it's the same two
Yeah,
quarterbacks that did it the first time.
same two
So
quarterbacks, right?
Same two
that's
quarterbacks.
another
Same
thing.
two quarterbacks.
I will say the last thing I'll say is I want the Eagles to win, and I want Saquon to win MVP only because of this. If you guys remember, Jonathan, I don't know if you watched it, Rodney. I'm sure you've seen the clip though, and Jonathan, I'm sure you've heard about it. When it was during the Giants' off-season training camp thing that they did on Hard Knocks,
Oh, I
when
saw it.
John
I
Mara
watched.
said, I'll have a hard time sleeping if Saquon goes to Philly." Imagine he goes to Philly, wins the Super Bowl, and wins the MVP of the Super Bowl. I think John Mara might kick Joe Shane out of the door tonight. I think
Mm-hmm.
he will fire Joe Shane tonight because I don't think he wants Joe Shane there anyway. But he's like, you know what? We're too close to the draft. I can't do it. But then you see Barkley win the MVP. I think the Giants franchise will burn down. I think John Mara will say, everybody I've ever paid, the GM, get out, go. Anybody in the scouting department that allowed the GM to let Saquon go, get out. I don't want none of you. We will draft who I want, and we will draft who Brian Daboll wants. We will not have a GM. He will be our. I think this could be a Belichick situation with Brian Daboll. If Saquon wins MVP, I think Brian Daboll becomes the new GM of the Giants. I don't think they're gonna have a GM. I think he'll be the head coach and the GM and the play caller. I I can see John Mara firing Joe Shane. I really could. Now, personally, as a Dolphins fan, and I haven't seen a playoff win in my lifetime because I was born in 03 and they haven't won a playoff game since 2000. It hurts me to see the Chiefs having a dynasty after having to deal with all the years of a Patriots dynasty. But I'm also a fan of greatness. And this could be a history making night for the Chiefs. The 3P obviously would be huge. So I just want to see a good game. I'm not really gonna. I mean, I'm rooting for the Eagles, but I'll be able to sleep at night if the Chiefs or Eagles either one win. It won't bother me. Uh, I would love the Eagles to win because of Jalen Hurts. Because similar to like you said, Jocelyn, the underdog story of Jalen. He started at Alabama. He got benched for Tua. He stayed 1 year as a backup for Tua. Then he goes, plays great in the SEC championship game for us. When Tua gets hurt, then he transfers to Oklahoma and he becomes the quarterback that I believe he is now. Like I don't think if he had went to Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley that he would have been the second round draft pick. I think he would have fallen to the third round because I think people only saw him as a running quarterback that was Tua's backup. I don't think people ever really saw him as a true pure passer, and he's still getting disrespect of being a pure pass. Jalen Hurts can throw the peel. He can throw the football. So that's what I'm thinking. And different, I don't know what Rodney's doing for the Super Bowl, but different than what Jocelyn's doing. I will be going to a Super Bowl watch party. I have a 4-hour drive because I'm going down to Mobile to hang out with my cousin. So that's going to be a fun drive. I'll be leaving here in a little bit, heading down there. Rodney, I don't know what you're doing, but if you're available after the game, I'd love to get on live and react to it. Jocelyn, if you're available after the game, depending on what you're doing and what time it is, obviously I know you got a lot of work going on, plus you got your family. So if you're available, we'd love to get you back on here to talk after the Super Bowl. But yeah, I don't see anybody. I don't see it being anybody. Let's see what we got here. All right, just now it's all that. But yeah, I think we're about finished up. That's all I got to say. Rodney, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I hope Saquon has the game of his life, and yeah, I just hope it's a good game, and I can't wait to see Kendrick Lamar at the halftime show.
Saints planning to finalize deal for Eagles OC Kellen Moore as the new head coach as soon as tomorrow. So Kellen might be coaching for a Saints job now. So even more incentive for the Eagles to win it. Jocelyn, tell everybody where they can find you.
Sorry, I'm over here dropping stuff. I had got
You're good.
I had to
You're
write it
good.
down immediately. So one, as always, I'm sorry. I feel like I got distracted a little bit. You get an email, and then
You're
sometimes
good.
get the. But as always, thank you, Nick. Thank you, Rodney, for having me. I love to speak sports. I love to talk about sports with like-minded individuals. My name is Jocelyn. You can follow me on, let me see, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, TikTok, Jocelyn Knows Sports, or just Jocelyn Thomas. You should be able to find me either way. And for anyone out there, I know you're watching the Super Bowl, I know you're watching NBA, but always be sure to support women in sports. It's very hard for a lot of our female athletes, a lot of our young girls, a lot of our women in media. So be sure to support women's sports. Nick and Rodney are very big advocates of supporting women's sports. They both support me. I'm very grateful for that. So any one of your guests out there, follow me, but also be sure to support so many women who do so much for our game.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, make sure, guys, I know everybody gets caught up with the NBA and the NFL and the MLB. Make sure to go watch the women's flag football because it's now a professional sport and it will be an Olympic sport. And also make sure to go watch the WNBA. It's not just about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. That entire league, they kill it every year. They play great basketball. And in my opinion, sometimes it's better than the men's game. Um, so yeah, make sure to go watch all of her stuff. She covers the WNBA, she covers the NBA, she covers NFL. She does everything. She's everywhere. So make sure to go follow Jocelyn on Jocelyn Knows Sports on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Threads, or like she said, just look up Jocelyn Thomas and you'll be able to find her. I will also, in the caption below, I will have her IG and her TikTok so that you guys can follow it. Rodney, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram and my name here, RJK underscore forever two. And you can find me on TikTok and YouTube, RJK forever four.
All right. And guys, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you're watching the game tonight, if you're going to a bar, if you're going to a Super Bowl party, just make sure to be safe, be careful, and enjoy a good football game as it should be a good football game. And if you're in New Orleans, obviously, real quick, prayers to everybody in New Orleans. I know everybody is still recovering from the heinous attack that happened just a few weeks ago at one of the college football playoff bowl games. So prayers to everybody there in New Orleans. I got the opportunity to meet Jack Beck, the brother of Tiger Beck, who was unfortunately killed in the attack. That's a great family. So prayers to them and their family and to everybody else grieving, and prayers to the city of New Orleans. Just guys, be safe. Don't if you're going to a bar to watch the game, have a driver or get an Uber. Don't drink and drive. I know a lot of people like to go to sports bars and watch with a group of people. Just be safe, be careful. Have a good Super Bowl Sunday because this is it. This is the last game of the year. And on Tuesday, when me and Rodney are live, it will be all about the draft. So, uh, thank you, Jocelyn, for coming on the show. As always, thank you for making time early on the Super Bowl Sunday. Sorry for the last minute notice yesterday, and then also the sleeping in today and almost missing the entire full hour. Thank you, Rodney, for texting me and making my phone go off to remind me to wake up. I appreciate both of you. Cannot wait for and also I don't care who wins the game. I better not see on Twitter anything about a ref. I'm tired of seeing after the Chiefs win that it's the refs. I promise you, the refs are not. The NFL is not scripting it so that the Chiefs can win. We're not. They're not doing that. If they were, a lot of people would be rich because a lot of people would have had the Chiefs to beat Buffalo in the regular season, and that didn't happen. But again, guys, thank you, Jocelyn, for being on the show. Thank you, Rodney, for being obviously a great podcast partner and always having my back. We've been through a little bit this week, but hey, we're past it. It's in the past. Moving forward, we got a whole new year. We got NBA, we got NFL free agency and draft, and we got the MLB starting. And I'm gonna make you watch a baseball game this year. I'll make you watch a baseball game. If I gotta sit through watching your Dallas Cowboys every Sunday, you can watch a Dodgers game. Okay, it'll be more entertaining. I promise you.
Okay.
But anyway, guys, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to follow Jocelyn on Instagram and on TikTok. Make sure to follow Rodney on Instagram and TikTok. Again, RJK_forever2 for Rodney and Jocelyn No Sports for Jocelyn. And make sure to leave her a nice comment in the comment section down below because she does an incredible job and she's an incredible friend, an incredible person, and an incredible ally to have in the sports world because it is a cutthroat business, but we can only make it if we all work together. So thank you, Jocelyn, for always giving us the time and the opportunity to talk to you. Rodney, we'll deal with your Cowboy fandom later. Okay, we need to talk about that. But love y'all. Thank y'all. Bye.